Now that both the children were a little older, Stella was 5 and Connor 3, it was easier to keep them busy, but still the days felt very long. She prayed, sometimes that was the closest word for it, for her husband, Brian, to not work late. With Stella in kindergarten for half days, Jenny was calmer, but she still watched the clock as she started dinner, making some small negotiations. If he is on time, I won't mention the hall toilet is running. I will fix it myself. If he is 10 minutes late, I will smile. I will ask about traffic. If he is beyond an hour, I will remind him he is missing time before Stella and Connor go to bed. Gently. I will be gentle, and I will ask him to read them their stories. If he does not come home at all... On occasion, these tiny bargains saw Brian sloping through the doorway in a suit crumpled from sitting all day at his desk and spending an hour in the car, but usually there was no sound of tires gripping the concrete of their driveway, no key scraping the lock. In those loops when he did not arrive at all, she felt ragged and worn out, but mostly frustrated, and she didn't see how going back to work would change anything. They'd have more money, but she didn't think they needed more money. Brian had suggested that the kids would benefit from being around their peers in daycare or aftercare, but Jenny didn't think either of them would like it all that much. The half-school days were hard enough. They were mostly solitary children and prone to colds. He didn't know them as well as she knew them. How could he, gone all the time? Though she never said this to him. Her own father had left when she was a child, and she knew he wasn't anyone worth measuring against, but she couldn't help but to compare. Brian was doing better. At least he provided. Part of his working long hours had to do with Brian being in line for a promotion, though if he got it, he would also have to travel. He worked in software sales, and when her mother had asked her to explain what the program, as she called it, did, Jenny was at a loss. It's something with banks, like processing transactions, she had said, because she did not really know either, and because she thought this would make her mother lose interest. Jenny did not feel good about the prospect of a travel schedule for Brian, when the stretch of highway between home and office already seemed longer than a transcontinental flight. She wondered what it would be like when he had a real reason to be gone. She conceded it had been her idea to move to the suburbs after she had gotten pregnant with Stella, and she conceded that she had willingly quit her job because she felt like she could. Her belly had bloomed, a halo around her, and she saw a chance to sink into the circle and disappear there for a little while. He had been angry about it at first, but that had passed. She took care of everything. She made his life easier. She had always wondered about women who had careers, like she once had, leaving work and not going back. But now she understood the appeal of a space where she was the absolute authority. It did not even matter that her children did not always listen to her, and it did not matter that they misbehaved and that sometimes she got angry with them for fighting, or that they demanded to follow her into the bathroom. They were hers. They belonged to her, and the world they inhabited belonged to her. And now it was Brian who had something she could not understand. By the time Connor was toddling, there were spans of weeks that she could count on her husband not coming home on weekdays at all. And in these times she tried calling him at work in the day, and the administrative assistant sent her to his voicemail. She called his cell direct, and he would not answer, and she would be angry because at home he was always on his phone, or checking for the red blinking lights that meant he had a message, sprinting across the house if he had left the mobile on a countertop out of immediate reach. Sometimes at dinner she would ask him to put it away, and sometimes she would be talking and he would look down at the screen, and she would just stop and wait for him to finish what he was doing as he scrolled or typed or frowned. Once, she told him that she did not believe he had so many meetings that he couldn't call her back. "I've seen you take calls everywhere," she said. "Everywhere we go, you take calls and text." She listed some of the places where she had seen him do this recently.